Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Back to Northern England after 1 year in America.
We are now settled back at home in America after our trip to the UK, and I have seriously noticed a huge difference. Huge. My last video was on our trip to Swanage in Dorset, which is my hometown. It's very touristy and fun in the summer. My mum lives there, and the moment we
Oh,
realised how American Isabel has become is when she asked my mum for a PB&J sandwich, and my mum just looked at her
Mhm.
like, "What is that?" And I
oh
had to explain
yum.
it's peanut butter and jelly, but it's not actually jelly; it's jam. But it is just your classic American sandwich. And we also noticed how much her little accent is more American than we realised, and she is only 3. I know there are only small, tiny things if you're from America, but in England, it made it more
Wow, she
noticeable.
digest a
So
lot.
we then travelled up to the northeast of England to visit family in Newcastle and Durham, and then we moved on to York to visit my brother. And it's really noticeable how a lot of people, not everyone, but a fair few, don't realise just how big America is. People say, "Oh, how's America? Did you get to see it all?" No, there's 50 states, different time
did you
zones.
get to, did you get to see it all? Is that people actually ask that? Wow, what?
Can drive for hours and hours and still be in the same state. The UK has one time zone and 4 countries. You can drive from the top of Britain to the bottom in less than a day. America is
That's
huge. It
crazy
is
to
going to
me.
take a while to see all of it, even if we get to. Obviously, this isn't everybody, but a lot of people just don't realize just the scale of America. But our first stop was York, and I do like York. If you get the chance to go, it is great. It does have a rich culture and history. It was previously a Viking capital of England. It also has the most amazing cathedral, York Minster, that dates back to the 7th century.
Oh
And that's what
wow,
really
big.
stands out when you're coming from America, just how old everything is. And no
Mm.
trip to York is complete without a trip to the Shambles, parts of which have been preserved since medieval times. Just don't try going down there with a pushchair, it is chaos. But the Shambles was interestingly the inspiration for Diagon Alley in the Harry Potter films. You would actually think the films were set here, it's
Mmm.
so similar. It wasn't set
Diagon
there,
Alley.
but if you go to the
Wow.
Shambles in York and you've seen the films, you will understand what I mean. There's a shop at the Shambles that sells ghosts, like little tiny ghost ornaments.
Mm.
Every time I've been to York, which is a lot over the years, we've gone to try and get one, but the queue is down the street. It's been years and we still don't have
Ooh,
one. I can't queue in that.
wow.
I'm not a queuer. The shop's called the York Ghost Merchants, and you can only buy them online occasionally. The sale of the ghost gets announced on social media or via email, but it's just not the same, really, is it? You need to get it in the shop. But maybe one day I will stand in the queue and wait, but we will see. But York mixes that old school charm with a lot of modern stuff. There are loads of pubs, restaurants, shops, markets, and it was while we were eating out that tipping came back into my head again. In my last video, I mentioned how tipping in America can feel like it's expected everywhere. And then it took some getting used to coming from the UK, where tipping is more of a "that was amazing, thank you," than a standard "you have to tip 20%. A few people agreed, and some said it's not actually expected in the States. But now that I'm back, I remember why tipping isn't really a thing in England. Honestly, customer service in America is just next level. Please don't take offense if you work in hospitality in the UK. This obviously won't apply to everybody. And I know from experience it is a tough job and some customers can be an absolute nightmare. But generally
I'm so
speaking,
curious to like a US person who was like in waitressing go to the Europe and to waitressing there to see if there's a difference.
And working?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how would you expect the difference? Like, how would you think that would manifest? What do you mean?
Because I would think, okay, it will still be themselves, and I wonder
Mm-hmm.
if they would like kind of change and pull back.
Would the person change?
Yeah, because they're not getting any tips.
Huh.
So will their, practices shift?
Oh, that's what you mean. Um, I don't think the person would change. I think the person would be the same.
Mm. I would think so too, because I
I
feel
don't
like it
think the
would be
person.
weird to like
Yeah,
not show up to the person's
yeah.
table.
I don't think the person would change. I think
Mm.
the person would be how they are. I don't think they would change.
Mm.
after living in the States for 1 year and then going back to the UK, the difference is noticeable. The whole service experience in America just feels a lot more consistent. It's not even about the tip anymore, it's just good service. And going back made me really see that. So I was happy to have some traditional British food. We had fish and chips and we had a cream tea, which I've not actually had in America. I know you have got it here, so I can't compare it because I've not had it. House size, I already said in my last video how the houses in America are so much bigger. This really hit me when I went back to England, realizing how much more space we have, and it really did sink in. Then, on our way to Newcastle, we passed through the beautiful city of Durham. The Northeast does have a rich history of coal mining and shipbuilding, but today it's a much different landscape as these industries have pretty much died out. Now it's more of a services based industry, and this is reflective in the new landscape. They've got some great parks, beaches, and generally it
I
is quite a
wonder
safe
why
place to
they
live.
moved to the States. Is her husband like American and they decided to move, or like
Mm.
they all just all family of Brits just decided to go to the States? You know, if they did, it's like what's the reason?
albeit not as economically prosperous as the South, but it is a beautiful part of the UK. We enjoy going back here for the pubs, the best traditional fish and chips. You can see some unique landmarks here as well, like Hadrian's Wall, which was the edge of the Roman Empire in Europe. Got the Angel of the North, and of course
Interesting.
Durham Cathedral, which is one of the most renowned examples of Norman architecture within the UK today. We then briefly went into Newcastle and got our train back down to London for our flight, which was an absolute nightmare. We were delayed for over an hour on the train with a toddler, so that was great. I keep hearing about the Amtrak that I'm dying to go on. Hopefully one day we'll get to go on that. But yeah, we then flew home, and the first nice feeling was getting off the plane and feeling the heat. And honestly, the heat hit me as much as all of the other differences in the UK. Back home, you're packing for rain, even in the summer in America, where I live at least. I'm in shorts, sunglasses, and everywhere has aircon. I do not need to worry about packing a coat. But then the UK does have walkable towns. Where I live in America, I can't just go for a walk. There's no pavements, and when I've got the pushchair with me, I don't want to be walking on the road. So it was nice to just walk everywhere where I was,
Interesting.
or hop on a
She calls stroller a pusher. I'm
Oh.
assuming that's what the pusher,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
otherwise
yeah.
I don't know what a pusher is.
bus back in England, as there is a lot more public transport. I think I definitely took for granted that there is history everywhere you look back home. It is a completely different vibe. Neither one is better. They're just so different. And going back really made me appreciate both in a new way. But I still personally prefer being in America. We are heading to Hawaii next. That will be my next big travel video.
That's
I've
so
always wanted to go and see Pearl
interesting.
Harbor, and the scenery and the beaches sound amazing. But any tips will be greatly appreciated. And we are hoping to squeeze in a few more local weekend trips before then.
So
Interesting.
I feel like you kind of miss the novelties that you have in England, like what you can't get anywhere else, per se.
Yeah, so like as she said, she didn't really like appreciate the history, I guess, as much.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously miss the food. That's very natural. Yeah, interesting. I thought the video would be go a little bit more into the differences. It was kind of
Yeah.
more like summary of her journey, which is fine. Her channel, you know, she does what she wants to. It's just like I kind of anticipated the flow of the video to be a little different. Oh, so she's from Pennsylvania. She lives in Pennsylvania because it's very interesting. Very
You know, when I think of Pennsylvania, like Pennsylvania is like the first places that people from England came to. So I would think the changes between the two, like they can give you similar vibes. Like for example, if she went to New York, like she lives in New York. You just went to New York, so I would think.
city, not the state. You talk about New York City, not the New York State, because I think New York State and Pennsylvania is not that different.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I think like it would be similar vibes, but different like experiences. So it's interesting to see like someone from North England experience Pennsylvania because I would think, oh, there's like some history there, connection because they have a tie together.
Yeah, I think shouldn't be too much of a cultural shock going
Yeah,
from like UK to like
to the north.
northeastern
Yeah, because
United
when
States.
she showed us this the space, it looked like to me like it could have been Nantucket, like the northern
Yeah,
state.
yeah, yeah. It did look like a north of the
Mm-hmm.
country. Now if she was to go to the west coast or down south, it would be
Yeah,
very
like very
that would be
different.
very different
Then
experience.
she
Yeah.
maybe she'll say, "Oh, the heat."
Oh yeah, the heat.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. Zoe's, share as much kindness as possible. Bye.